So we're going to move on to our NBA story of the day, and that is NBA Commissioner Adam Silver sent an email to all 32 owners in the NBA, or all 30? All 30? Yeah, all 30 owners, saying that he will be handing out hefty fines for resting players without proper notice. And I guess my question to you is, how do you feel this issue should be solved? I guess maybe to preface this, is Adam Silver in the right or in the wrong here?
I guess as the commissioner, he certainly has a say. He's basically the head of the league. And, you want the fans to come out, get what they paid for. You certainly would like to see the best players on the court at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, me as a Knicks fan, or say you being a Sixers fan, do you really want a chance? Obviously Embiid's out for the year, but say he's healthy and he's been dealing with some scrapings throughout the year. Do you really want to see him go those last 5 games when it's not going to matter in the end? I'm not quite sure.
It's a real tough one, because what happens is you have national games, and so there's so many different factors going on. Mm-hmm. My thing is, Jaromir Jagr is 44 years old, and he hasn't missed a single game in the NHL.
Yeah.
And this dude is getting checked, and he's 44. Mind you, this dude's in the league almost 20 years. A couple Stanley Cups. He's essentially in the playoffs every year, Jaromir Jagr. Doesn't miss games. One of the most notable Flyers of all time, Gordie Howe, he was playing up until the late 40s. And he, in his last season, I think as a Flyer, played 80 of 82 games in his 40s, older 40s, past the 45-year-old mark. So, I'm sorry, but these guys are getting checked and thrown into boards. And you're getting paid millions. That's the thing. It's not a hobby.
Right.
But at the same time, when you're mentioning guys like Joel Embiid, I think there has to be something for players that are injury riddled. Mm-hmm. Because you can't find the Sixers for sitting Joel Embiid.
Right.
It's clear that he has injury problems. Mm-hmm. But I'm sorry, I don't. And you know what? You are LeBron James. You are the idol of the league since Kobe Bryant. Back in the early 2000s. Since the 2003 draft.
Right.
Essentially, LeBron James is the face of the NBA. Even though Kobe had 2 more championships after that, LeBron was the guy coming in at 18 years old or 19 years old right out of Akron, Ohio.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, unfortunately, I think LeBron needs to play every night he possibly can. I think Kyrie Irving needs to play every night that he can. I think Russell Westbrook. To me, Russell Westbrook is the reason why players should not sit. This dude almost never misses games, and when he's playing, he's doing Oscar Robertson stuff. He's averaging a triple-double.
Right.
Which is something we haven't seen since the 70s.
Yeah. I would say
so that's it's a double-edged sword. I get it,
but then at the same time, where was I going with my point? I forgot spur of the moment exactly what I was going to say. Of course, it happens.
I can maybe spur you on with maybe what you were talking about, and that is when it's almost like the problem that people have with the government, that if you tell them that if you do this, it will be a slippery slope into the next thing.
Right.
I think player health and player safety.
Absolutely.
We talk about that with the with the NFL all the time. We're now bringing that up with the NHL all the time. With baseball, we brought it up with players being hit in the head. Baseball pitchers with Alex Torres and his super puffy helmet.
Right.
Or Jason Hayward putting that big G-shaped helmet on. And so I understand player safety is a concern. But this is also of all the major league sports, I'd say it's the least dangerous next to soccer or European football. It's a non-contact sport. I don't care what anyone says. And you know what? It might have been when Charles Barkley and Charles Oakley played. Maybe it was a contact sport, but I'm not calling it a contact sport anymore.
Right.
Even if by definition it is, the connotation of this league is I mean, you should see some of the fouls these guys are going up and getting. It's like you literally did not get touched.
Right, painful.
It is.
That's been one of the biggest knocks on the NBA in recent history, at least, is that it's turned into a game, a soft game, so to say. And obviously, that outlook on the league is not going to change if you're having players doing this, where you're having teams sit their best players because maybe it's an easy game and you want to rest them a little bit.
Right.
Sure, you can rest them. Obviously, don't play them 40 minutes. Play them 20 minutes.
And I think that's where we should. To me, that would be one of the better ways to solve this. Is just limit caps. Put LeBron James. And now, if Adam Silver comes out and says, "Oh, you only pay LeBron James 15 minutes," that's unacceptable. Then that's what I'm talking about with that slippery slope argument that we have with our government all the time. That if you do one thing, it will lead to another. You give an inch, you give a mile.
Right. And how do you police something like that?
You can't. Well, I don't agree with that. You can't.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's that's too invasive on the game from a owner and commissioner standpoint. And the owners want their players to be healthy, but they also want them out there because those are the guys that are selling the beers, hot dogs, and tickets at the end of the day. And so when you have, like back in the day, I went to a Sixers game because Kobe Bryant was coming to town. When the 76ers want Kobe Bryant in that game, or people aren't coming. If 2 days before, if it's not a back-to-back, if it's a Saturday game, the last time the Lakers played was a Thursday, and in the press conference they said they're going to hold him out against the 76ers, you're going to see that people are not buying tickets on Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And so if you're the 76ers, if you're a lower team, a lower-end team, a smaller market, you're going to want those guys coming out. So if you're a Bucks fan, if you're the Bucks, if you're the Pelicans, especially the Pelicans, you don't want James Harden sitting. You see him 8 times a year.
Right.
Or 6. I'm not exactly sure. But you want to see James Harden on the court. If you're the Thunder and the Warriors, you better hope that KD and Russ are on the court at the same time. If they're not, it's just the tickets aren't being sold. And so there is this double-edged sword where do you want players to come out and play even if they're injured? Because I certainly wouldn't want that. But then when we're talking about a guy like Joel Embiid, you can't give notice for maybe do you almost send in like a doctor's note, like we're not playing him back-to-backs, and you get an okay? Maybe that's where the league goes, but again, that to me that's too invasive. That's too governmental.
Right.
And if you're a head coach, you talk about Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr said maybe to solve this, you shorten the NBA season. Do you put any stock in that? Maybe take it into 70 games.
The NBA gets knocked for being a long season. As far as months-wise, I believe it runs like 8 months in total, I want to say.
I think it's like Halloween. They play a Halloween game. I think it's one of their first. And then they don't end till
end of April, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we have a month left essentially in the entire NBA.
But in the same sense, hockey plays the same exact amount of games.
Yeah.
Same exact stretch of
time.
Season.
Yeah.
They start right around the end of October and around the end of April.
They pretty much run side by side.
Right. How much can you lower it? It's already a game that's known for being soft.
And I think that's going to be a knock is that the comparison to the NHL. And there is no comparison as far as physicality. And I don't hear hockey players complain. I hear hockey players wanting to get out there more. Like, they're nuts.
Right.
They get sliced in the neck and they're asking, hey, can you get me back for the third period as they're in the ambulance bleeding all over the place.
Maybe it's the money that's in the NBA too. Players are nervous about their careers when they're earning the millions that they are in the NBA.
I'd be more concerned if I was an NFL player in this with it because NFL players are only up until recently never really got guaranteed money. In the NBA, especially in baseball, you're essentially guaranteed that the entire contract, or I don't want to say the entire, but you're getting paid most of what you're signing for. And in the NFL, that is just not the case. Mario Williams signed a $100 million deal. I'd be shocked if he made 60 of that.
Right.
So yeah, he's a $100 million man. Albert Hainsworth, same thing. There's not a lot of guaranteed money in the NFL. And they're talking about extending it to 18 games. And the players are for it if you shorten the preseason. So in a sense, I do believe that the NBA is a little bit of a crybaby right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's not much more to say on it. I think
no, not really.
I think if there is a guy that's not hurt and he's just taking a rest day, what is that? Why? There's no need for that. But obviously, if a guy has been ailing, even if there's just been some sort of sickness like a flu, or he's coming back from a flu after 3 days and needs a rest day, sure, that's something you could go for. I can't go for these, guys sitting out just because.
Like literally, like sitting LeBron.
Right. But
I
then
can't go for that.
like we're saying, how do you police that? Not sure if there's a way to do that.
It's tough. Like I said, it's tough to police. It's tough to institute. So the only options I see here are shortened minutes per game.
Right.
So maybe the limit is 10 minutes. Each player has to play 10 minutes, or star players have to play 10 minutes. And I don't mind. And I don't mind singling out franchise and stars.
Right.
I really don't, because stars make up American sports, professional sports.
Right.
Without the stars, there is nothing. Maybe not in hockey so much, but especially in baseball, basketball, and football, the stars run the league. So I'd like to see in minutes, maybe that, or you shorten the season to 70 games, or you pay them more. Again, this is something we're going to watch. It's going to be addressed at the owners' meeting over the summer, and we'll go from there. So that's it for our NBA section. Remember, this is Young and Dominant Sports Talk, coming to you live from Facebook Live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, third most important city in the country, number one in our hearts. Alongside Tyler Young, I am Dominic Barone. Remember, on April 14th, that is a Friday, if you were in the Lehigh Valley and you want to go see a Phantoms game, support my friend Drew Gabriel as he's going to sing the national anthem. I have tickets for $17. Section 203, row 8 and 9. And if you have someone who's disabled, I can get you seating in the ADA, which is American Disabilities Act, which is behind the net underneath the Phantoms, where the Phantoms actually hang. So I guess you would say the home goal. So you can give me a call or throw me a message on Facebook. $17 a ticket, supporting a good cause. I would really appreciate it as a promoter. Kind of my next thing in life. I'm also promoting Drew Gable for an Iron Pigs game.
Nice.
Through my friend Chad Mazeppa. Mazeppa might be watching. And so, because we all know I will be moving back to the Valley at the end of my college career. And so I'm just trying to do some big things, and I'm asking for help.
A man of many talents is Dominic Barone.
Yes, I'd like to say so.